What are the biggest connections with Ripple, XRP, and the IMF? That's the International Monetary Fund. This video goes to be jam-packed full of all of the connections. If you want to recognize what they are, stick with me through this entire video. It's going to be brilliant. Let's speak approximately this. So what, without a doubt, is the IMF? For the people that don't recognize what the IMF is, the International Monetary Fund, additionally referred to as the IMF, works to attain sustainable increase in prosperity for all its 191 member international locations. It does so by helping monetary regulations that promote monetary balance and monetary cooperation, which might be crucial to growth, productivity, activity, introduction, and monetary nicety being. The IMF is ruled with the aid of an account, with the aid of an accountable to its member nation, with the aid of an accountable to its member nations. Okay. And so let's test what the connections are to the IMF and Ripple. So Ripple's Chris Larsson is a member of the IMF Excessive Stage Advisory on Finance and Technology. If you take a look at who a number of those human beings are, you have got the DTCC. Depository Trust Clearing Corporation. Guys, they clean over $250 billion a year. Of course, you've got Ripple here. You have Mighty Air Circle is right here. You have Christine Lagarde from the IMF International Monetary Fund. She was the pinnacle of the IMF. Now, she's the head of the European Central Banks. And a path, take a look at this. Monetary Authority of Singapore is here. Bank of Canada is right here, and so many different massive players. You also have Christina Georgieva, who's the brand new head of the IMF, knows thoroughly who Ripple and XRP are. Let me play this. We are advocating to think about this world of virtual cash as a global public proper. And in a current discussion in Zurich, wherein we both have been, what we endorse for is to have a public platform. So whilst protocols are agreed, this public platform can connect extraordinary CBDCs. It can be, there may be interoperability. The same manner you will switch euros from one USA to any other, you do it using CBDCs. All right, real quickly, what number of valuable banks are there inside the international? What is the variety? It is 214 relevant banks from around the world. Listen, right now, Ripple is running with up to 20-something valuable banks. I assume it's like 20, 22, or 23 important banks, right? If there are 214 primary banks from around the world, you're speaking approximately, Ripple's already speaking and running with up to 10% of governments operating on imperative financial institution virtual foreign money, proper. They've released some of the names that we recognize they've executed pilots with, and they may be preserving back a number of the names that I suppose can be extraordinarily large, right? If you have got a huge US of A, something like France, perhaps Australia, this is interested in the usage of Ripple's era, that declaration may want to catapult the charge of XRP to all sorts of crazy new values, right? And Ripple has serious connections with principal banks and the IMF proper. We talked about this already. It says the crucial ideas constructed around the worldwide non-countrywide Forex and XRP ought to match the bill. It already does in most ways. The IMF appearing together with the arena financial institution and crucial banks for imperative banks ought to use XRP as agreement between the worlds. Between the banks proper, we communicate approximately an interoperable network for all of these extraordinary relevant banks. If Ripple became already speaking with over 20 significant banks proper, this is the pinnacle check era that imperative banks are looking at to apply. If you begin getting 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 valuable banks, all the use of the identical generation, different vital banks are going to need to be part of that community. Then you deliver all the significant banks into your network that they can use it. You also have this from Black Swan capitalists. Let me play this 38 seconds. Full digital currency aspect. Well, people arguing over that backward and forward, they've overlooked the fact that it's the IMF that has created their personal coin proper, and they're pitching it to update the dollar as a reserve currency so that every USA may have their personal virtual currencies. But then for worldwide clearance, it then should go back to the IMF coin. You know, that is a part of this one global idea of a central authority. Listen, if the IMF built a coin, where would you think that coin could be built on? Would it be constructed on the top of the XRP ledger? Or would or not, it's constructed on XTC Quant. Maybe I don't assume XTC. I assume in case you desire to construct an IMF coin, you would have to be running with the IMF already.
Right.
And the two organizations that I realize are operating with IMF already are Ripple and Stellar. I don't know if Stellar has enough gravitas to do that, but who is aware of man it can take place? You additionally have Jess Chang, she's the previous Federal Reserve Officer, Ripple Deputy, Preferred Counsel, and IMF Counsel. This is some other connection I wanted to point out to you. She labored at Ripple, then she worked on the IMF, and then she went to the Senior Counsel, Federal Reserve Board, and now she's a partner at Williams Sasani, Godwin, and Rostoni. However, she is up right here. Whilst she became operating with Ripple and the IMF, pay attention to this clip 2 minutes, 14 seconds, other class. Of Fintech innovation and bills is where you've got an entire new price method, a brand new manner for cash to transport. It truly is special from whatever we've got visible earlier then. So this may be crypto property or it may be a blockchain-based price answer. And this is a space that I worked in at Ripple, and it is this space that I, for my part, find charming and interesting. What's essential about this class of fintech innovation is which you have a brand new way for value to go with the flow. is an opening up of the sort of connections between humans, institutions, entities all around the global. This is without a doubt important for past border bills. Payments usually drift pretty freely whilst it is simply within a country, especially while humans show up to have bills with the same financial institution. But for bills from one United States of America to some other, it is wherein you run into inefficiencies and frictions, a basis that can be legally enforced. A foundation for acceptors true with. I wrote the charge rules for Ripple solution, and I can inform you all approximately how I treated that spinny wheel, but there may be something very deeply worthwhile about developing readability and actuality out of chaos. Cryptosits and blockchain, when they may be used in the context of move border bills, they are able to create new paths for price to extra correctly waft around the arena. There are actual problems in go border bills that Fintech can uniquely solve for. All right, sorry she talks so sluggish. I'm looking to stay wakeful here. Ryan Zagon for Ripple speaking with the IMF. Right, check this out. Thanks, Greg. Let me invite Ryan, please. Hello, everybody. My call is Ryan Zagon. I paintings for an agency referred to as Ripple. We permit actual time move border bills for economic establishments. We're lowering the agreement time from about 5 days to 5 seconds, and we are decreasing the value of move border payments with the aid of about 60% we're working with. Approximately 50 economic establishments around the world to permit this real-time cross-border fee to the query of will. In 2017, Ripple began working with 50 economic establishments. It is now, 8 years later, Fintech endanger economic stability. I don't assume it's going to if we preserve a sturdy precept-based technique to law. So these days we set regulation at a high-stage thematic precept that we apply uniquely to every exclusive area or product. So as an instance, we will have concepts around market stability or operational resiliency, cybersecurity, like sturdy components of a financial machine. We observe those, ensuring the controls and the threat are installed region are specific to the chance and gaps within every product. It's no longer one widespread approach, so we customize how we follow policies and danger to every special product. If we maintain that method of a strong precept primarily based version, I think we will be very powerful at identifying and mitigating the risks that could come from Fintech. All proper. And then, so now we have a Marley Elmer place this out, IMF acceptors true with bridges and money flows. She pulled this from a document that the IMF launched, and it talks approximately a worldwide clearinghouse that eliminates the need for a whole set of bilateral consider relationships and ends by advancing a version for a market to alternate tokenized cash without delay throughout borders. In the realm of credit-based cash, acceptors true with performs a key position. Trust but is steeply priced to establish price transactions can arise best over common infrastructure. The hassle of interoperability in bills is therefore described because the switch of fee across trusted networks, wallet vendors, aka gateways, fulfills the important task of mitigating risk, agree with. The forex pairs traded at the market will evidently gravitate to the ones offering the maximum liquidity. Money does now not circulate across borders, tokenizing money manner, inscribing and trading assets rights to a forex or commonplace ledger. Settlement of tokenized property accordingly requires agree with most effective in a community, not in the transacting parties. And then these three models rise up a non-public agreement asset marketplace consisting of Ripple's XRP, an open supply marketplace, such as the Stellar Foundations or DeFi networks, and a marketplace, an agreement asset primarily based on unbacked crypto belongings, inclusive of Strike, that could leverage Bitcoin and Lightning Network. It's now not going to be Bitcoin and Lightning Network. It will come all the way down to Ripple and Stellar. Also, you furthermore may have Saudi Arabia